shifts and breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. And we're locking this firmly to developments published on November 4, 2025.
Yeah, it really feels like this was a day AI stepped out of the sandbox.
Yeah.
Moving past pilot projects into full-scale global production.
Exactly. We're tracking these new battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Sovereign infrastructure, huge national spending, and some really astonishing research from space down to the nanoscale.
Definitely. If there's one theme today, it's commitment. Real, concrete commitment. That whole Gen AI pilot phase is clearly over.
You mean like Palantir?
Yeah, Palantir is citing otherworldly growth.
Hmm.
And then you see nations like Germany, South Korea, dropping billions to, well, own their tech future. It's a shift from just exploring to actually building the industrial reality.
Okay, let's dive into that, starting with the research, because November 4th was really foundational there. First up, biotech. Google DeepMind released a pretty critical update.
Absolutely. So AlphaFold 3.1 is out. And the key thing here is it's significantly better at predicting how nucleic acids and small molecules interact.
Okay, so it's more accurate. But why should, someone listening care about that specific improvement?
Well, it directly speeds up the whole drug design process. That usually takes years, right? By getting better predictions on how proteins interact with drugs or DNRNO, it lets researchers target disease pathways much, much more precisely.
Oh.
And earlier.
Much earlier, right. Okay, shifting from biology to pure physics. Google also had a big quantum computing announcement.
Yeah, this one stood out. They announced the quantum echoes algorithm. And the headline here is verifiable quantum advantage on actual hardware. This isn't just theory.
Verifiable. So they measured something specific.
They did. They computed the structure of a complex molecule. And it was, get this, 13,000 times faster than the best classical supercomputer could do it.
13,000 times. Wow. So that's a real tangible step towards practical quantum computing.
It really is. For things like material science, drug discovery,
Yeah.
it's significant progress.
Okay, sticking with hardware but moving to future chips. ITMO University in Russia, they hit a milestone for neuromorphic computing.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff. It's about building chips that kind of mimic the human brain, combining memory and processing. They tackled a major stability problem.
A stability problem. What was the issue and what did they fix?
So previous designs degraded too quickly. They developed this perovskite memristor using tiny 300-nanometer nanocrystals and got it working stably over 1,000 switching cycles. That was the hurdle.
1,000 cycles. And the payoff is?
The payoff is potentially huge. Stable brain-like hardware could mean AI running right on the chip. No constant cloud connection, much lower power, maybe in, say, 10 to 15 years. A big step towards edge AI.
Moving over to language models now, OpenAI launched something quite specific for India.
They unveiled InQA. It's a benchmark. Basically a test with over 2,000 questions, covers 12 Indian languages, 10 cultural areas, and it's designed specifically to test cultural reasoning.
Why is that needed? Don't existing tests cover multilingual aspects?
They do, but often with a Western bias. India is incredibly diverse, linguistically and culturally. This benchmark highlights the gaps. And the results, well,
not great, I gather.
Not yet. The best model they tested, GPT-5 Thinking High, only scored about 35% accuracy. 34.9 to be exact.
Oof, so that really shows how far there is to go for these models to be truly useful everywhere, right?
Absolutely. Huge need for more culturally aware training data and model improvements.
Okay, last one in research. Efficiency gains in AI agents from Arc Computer. Tell us about ATLS.
Right, ATLS. It's a gradient-free continual learning system. Let's unpack that. Gradient-free basically means it can adapt on the fly. In real time.
Without needing that massive retraining process.
Exactly. No need for the expensive, time-consuming retraining usually needed when things change. It learns continuously.
And does work well.
Pretty impressively, yeah. They tested it on a cybersecurity task. It achieved a 54% success rate, which is decent. But the kicker is it reduced the computational cost by 86%.
86% reduction in cost. That's huge for making agents practical.
It's a game changer for deploying agents affordably, especially in complex, dynamic situations.
That efficiency point is a great bridge to our next segment, product and feature launches. Because once you prove efficiency in the lab,
it gets put to work in the enterprise, fast.
Yeah.
And November 4th was definitely a day for tools moving AI into serious business workflows, starting with SAP.
The German software giant, what did they launch?
They released RPT-1. That's Relational Pre-trained Transformer. Sounds technical, I know.
Okay, break it down. Why should a business leader care about RPT-1?
Because it's the first big model designed specifically for structured business data. Think spreadsheets, databases, ERP systems, CRM data, and crucially, no fine-tuning needed.
No fine-tuning. That's usually a massive headache,
It's
right?
exactly. It normally requires specialized teams, lots of effort. This ready-to-use approach just eliminates that overhead. For SAP's huge customer base, that could really accelerate AI adoption.
Meanwhile, Snowflake, the data cloud company, they also made a big move.
They did. Snowflake Intelligence went to general availability, AGA. So it's fully live now.
And what does Snowflake Intelligence actually do?
It's them pushing beyond just storing data. They want to be an end-to-end AI platform. It lets users, even non-technical folks, use natural language, just type questions to query data, create charts, analyze stuff using AI agents.
Sounds a bit like what traditional business intelligence tools promise. Is this different?
They're trying to make it different by integrating the AI right into the data cloud itself. So insights are supposed to be more instantaneous, less reliant on setting up separate reports or using third-party tools. It's an aggressive play.
Got it. Okay, shifting to consumer hardware, we saw something new in the AI everywhere trend.
Brilliant Labs launched Frame. They're calling it the world's first glasses with an integrated multimodal AI assistant. And notable backer, AR pioneer John Hank.
So, AI in your glasses, what's the significance of moving AI from the phone screen to your face?
It's about changing the primary interface, putting AI literally in your field of view. This creates huge demand for, well, a whole new class of AI models. They need to be super fast, low latency, hyper efficient to run on tiny, low-power devices like glasses.
Right, pushing computation to the edge, like that Russian memristor research could eventually enable.
Exactly. It all connects.
Okay, last product item. OpenAI making a big play in India.
Yeah, a very aggressive market grab. They announced their ChatGPT Go subscription tier, normally about, what, $50 a year, will be free for 1 full year to everyone in India.
Free for a year? Why such a big giveaway? India's their second biggest market already, isn't it?
It is. This looks like classic market strategy. Build massive user loyalty now, lock in market share long term. India's AI adoption is exploding, so they're cementing their position against Google, local startups, everyone.
Makes sense. Okay, let's pivot to the physical foundation. Chips and infrastructure. This is where that sovereign AI idea really hit home on November 4th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The big story here is definitely geopolitical. NVIDIA and Deutsche Telekom, they unveiled a massive €1 billion partnership.
€1 billion for what?
To build an industrial AI cloud in Munich. And it's going to house up to 10,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs.
10,000 Blackwells, the top-tier chips. For Germany specifically, what's the strategy?
It's billed as Europe's largest sovereign AI project. 2 main goals. First, boost Germany's industrial AI compute power by 50%. Second, keep all that sensitive industrial data in Germany under strict EU data laws. Less reliance on US or Chinese cloud providers. Data sovereignty.
Sovereignty, okay. Meanwhile, Google announced something completely different, taking AI infra to space.
Yeah, Project Suncatcher. This is Google DeepMind looking at solar-powered satellite constellations. Equipped with their own custom TPU chips, the Trillium ones, doing AI computation up in low Earth orbit.
Satellites doing AI compute. Why? Apart from sounding cool.
Power. It's really about addressing AI's massive and growing energy demands. Space offers continuous sunlight for solar power. They estimate it's up to 8 times more efficient than Earth-based solar.
8 times. Okay, that could overcome some serious limitations we're starting to see with data center power needs on the ground. When might we see this?
They're planning initial prototype launches with those Trillium TPUs by early 2027. So it's still research, a moonshot, but they're serious.
Back on Earth, the chip competition is still fierce. Intel made a move.
They did. They launched their new Xeon 6 processors, the ones with performance cores. And they're specifically claiming up to double the AI processing performance for data centers, networks, edge computing.
Double the performance compared to previous Xeons. How does that compete with dedicated GPUs like NVIDIA's or AMD's?
It's Intel's counter-move in the inference market. That's when you're actually using the trained AI model, not training it. They're integrating AI acceleration directly into the CPU. The idea is it's more cost-effective for lots of enterprise tasks where a huge, power-hungry GPU might be overkill.
Makes sense. And speaking of AMD, they seem to be doing very well.
Extremely well. They reported record Q3 revenue, $9.2 billion, up 36% year over year, and they explicitly said it was driven by huge demand for their Instinct AI accelerators, the MI350 series. Data center revenue up 22%.
So the market's validating their strategy.
Absolutely. And it's backed by massive upcoming deals. They mentioned 50,000 MI450 GPUs going to Oracle and a, frankly, enormous 6-gigawatt deployment plan for OpenAI. AMD is clearly a major and rapidly growing player now.
Okay, let's shift gears again. Policy and governance. The EU seems to be getting down to brass tacks with the AI Act.
That's right. The EU AI office published the actual reporting template. This is for companies to report serious incidents involving those high-risk AI systems, the GPISR models.
So this is the first real piece of paperwork, the start of the enforcement machinery.
Exactly. It moved the AI Act from just words on paper to actual regulatory process. Standardized data collection on AI risks across the EU. Consistent accountability. And you can bet many global companies will just adopt this stricter standard everywhere to keep things simple.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., the Rockefeller Foundation is tackling the fragmented governance landscape.
Yeah, they launched the AI Readiness Project. It's a national effort to help U.S. states, territories, tribal nations build capacity for using AI responsibly in public services, expanding a community for chief AI officers.
This seems pretty crucial. U.S. AI governance has been all over the place, state by state.
It addresses a huge gap, provides a nonpartisan framework, tries to standardize ethical deployment and evaluation across all these different public systems, rather than, every state inventing its own wheel.
We also saw major national commitments elsewhere. South Korea is really stepping up.
Oh yeah, big news. They announced they're tripling national AI spending for 2026. Tripling. To 10.1 trillion won, which is about $7 billion US.
$7 billion. What does that kind of investment signal?
It signals they intend to be one of the top 3 global AI powers, period. Right up there with the US and China. The money goes to industry, talent, integrating AI into everything civilian and military, and supporting their own chip giants, of course.
And finally, in this section, China. The integration of AI into state security seems to be accelerating.
Yeah, reports from a security conference in Beijing showed tech companies displaying advanced AI surveillance tools to police officials. Things like speech recognition for over 200 dialects, systems profiling people based on shopping, even medical data.
The key factor there is always the data access, isn't it?
It's the core advantage, yes. It shows how their national AI Plus action plan fuels state surveillance, but also gives these companies unparalleled access to massive amounts of training data. Something few other countries can replicate at that scale.
Okay, let's wrap this up by connecting back to that market shift we talked about, enterprise adoption and funding. The signals on November 4th were pretty strong.
Undeniable, really. Palantir was the big one. They significantly raised their revenue forecast for 2025. And the reason? Accelerating an otherworldly demand for their AI platforms.
Otherworldly, that's quite the quote. But let's push on that a bit. Palantir often deals with huge government contracts, very complex stuff. Does their success really mean the average company's AI pilot phase is over? Or just that the biggest players are spending big now?
That's a fair point. It definitely confirms that for the really high-value, mission-critical, complex problems, the spending is massive and exponential. It justifies those huge infrastructure bets, like in Germany. But you're right. For, say, smaller businesses, adoption is growing, but maybe not quite otherworldly just yet. Still catching up.
Okay. But we did see concrete numbers from e-commerce, too, from Shopify.
We did. Shopify reported AI tool traffic to their merchant stores was up 7x since January, 7 times.
Yeah.
And purchases attributed to AI, up 11x.
11 times the purchases. That's direct bottom line impact.
Exactly. It shows AI isn't just hype in e-commerce. It's directly improving conversions, driving growth for millions of small and medium businesses on their platform.
And finally, funding news. Beacon Software raised $250 million for a specific AI strategy.
Yeah, $250 million Series B. Their model is interesting. They call it anti-private equity AI roll-ups. They buy smaller, niche software companies, think software for managing a local sports league or scheduling in a factory, and then use the funding to inject AI, automate, and scale them up.
And investors like this AI transformation angle.
They clearly do. That $250 million raise valued the company at $1 billion, all based on the promise of using AI to unlock value in these often overlooked software sectors.
All right, before we go, a couple of quick takeaways for you. Tools and numbers. First, a tool. If you're building serious machine learning systems, check out Hydra from Meta Research.
Yeah, it's a framework for managing configurations.
Yeah.
Sounds dry, but it's crucial for keeping complex experiments organized and reproducible. Really useful.
And for learning.
Google Skills. It's an online platform, tons of courses, over 3,000, apparently lots of short tutorials too, many on AI. Good resource for closing that skills gap we keep hearing about.
Okay, finally, our numbers of the day from November 4th, 2025.
Number 1, $7 billion. that South Korea's planned AI spending for 2026, triple their previous budget, shows serious national ambition.
Number 2.
13,000 times.
The speed advantage Google's Quantum Echoes algorithm showed over a classical supercomputer for that molecule calculation, a glimpse of quantum's potential.
And the last number.
82%. That's the share of enterprise leaders now reporting they use generative AI at least weekly, up hugely from just 37% in 2023, according to a Wharton report. That really seals the deal on the shift from pilot to production.
So tying it all together, we see these huge bets on future infrastructure, sovereign clouds in Germany, AI in space with Project Suncatcher. But maybe the real defining factor right now is who's generating that otherworldly revenue today? Palantir, Shopify, right? How will that immediate demand for profit, for tangible results, shape which infrastructure, which nations, which companies ultimately becomes dominant?
Something to think about as you navigate your own AI strategy. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.